Good evening. My name is Salud, and tonight I've written a roleplay for you. If you like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to be notified when I've written something new for you. Please take a deep breath and get comfortable and focus on the sound of my voice. Let's begin. The last thing you remember is the war. A valley that echoed with the sound of metal swords and shouts from your commander over the din. But those memories are distant and foggy, like they're trapped behind a heavy curtain you can't pull back. But you don't care to. You're swimming peacefully, and time has lost all meaning. Then one day you see a person that's never happened before. A silhouette on the horizon with a hand outstretched. They're breathing, and the flesh of their hand is flush with blood, and you realize that they're alive. You'd forgotten, and when you swim closer, the pads of your fingers brush against theirs. The hand stretches out, wanting you. When was the last time you were wanted? You take their hand and you're pulled out of the water, up, towards the surface. Everything shifts, and there's sunlight in your eyes and dirt everywhere. You're sputtering, reeling, and a woman stands before you, draped in black robes. Her long hair hangs down to her waist, and her green eyes are kind but filled with concern. Hey, easy now, easy. You've been gone a long time. I'm a little surprised you took my hand. But I guess you remembered enough about the world of the living to want to come back, right? It's all right. Take a second and orient yourself. Do you want to hold my hand again? There. Oh, who am I? Yes, that's a good place to start. I'm Sharess of the Beating Heart, a necromancer. You're Necromancer, actually. And just look at you. I'm so lucky. You look so strong. I bet you were a fearsome soldier. She reaches out and squeezes your arm, then gasps when an earthworm wiggles out of the grave dirt piled on your shoulder. And you're teeming with life. How delightful. I'm getting ahead of myself, of course. We'll take you back to my lab and get you cleaned up and embalmed and... What? What do you mean you don't know what's going on? Maybe necromancers weren't common where you're from. Oh goodness, I'm sorry. I don't mean to confuse you, darling. You took my hand in the space between life and death, so I assumed you knew what that meant. No. I don't own you or anything, I promise. You're not a slave. I just have a responsibility towards you. You can work for me if you want, but you're paid fair wages and there's a fancy contract to look over. And if you can't read, a third party reads it to you. Or you can just go along on your merry way. You can do anything now. No need to sleep or eat. Things might seem a bit muted, but there's a tremendous freedom in being risen. A zombie? Oh no, I don't use that word. I think it's derogatory. Don't you think? You're very much your own person, and an excellent one if I do say so myself. Look, you still have your sword and armor, though I don't recognize that crest on it. You might have fought on the losing side. I hope that's not too depressing. History is written by the victors. It's so unfair. Please don't frown. I promise this is a good thing. Life and unlife are funny. Sometimes we think it's the end when it's really the beginning, and we think losses are the end when they're really just an unavoidable consequence of living. Don't be sad, my dear. You can make no mistakes and still lose. That's just how it goes. There's still so much for you. You're so strong. I really do hope you'll come back with me to the palace. Here, let me sweep that dirt off your shoulders. Let's help you up out of that grave as well. Hang on. There we go. Oh, you have really nice eyes. I bet you drew a lot of attention when you were alive. Maybe death had a crush on you, and that's why you died in your prime. I think he does that sometimes. Not that I'd claim to know him. I just had a little encounter with him, like you. Only I lived to tell the tale, and now I get to borrow his toys on occasion, you see? I'm rambling, aren't I? I'm sorry. I'm very excited to see you. My carriage was passing through, and I sensed this graveyard. But everyone seemed like they'd moved on. Except for you. You were like a little candle flame in a bonfire that had long since been put out. I knew you'd be special. Please, you must travel with me to the palace, at least. I'll wash your hair and take good care of you. We could get you some new armor. And if you work as my bodyguard, it's an easy job. We would walk in the gardens every morning, and the nobles play beautiful music that drifts through rose bushes and trees. I rarely leave the palace walls. But if you crave adventure, there's a lot of soldiers to train with. And sometimes I get into trouble. I'm just a politician, though, really. Not one of those necromancers that's out having grand adventures. What's that? You'll think about it. Thank you. You're so sweet to humor me. Come, come. Step into the carriage. That's it. Easy does it. Small steps. The body remembers even if your mind has a lot to take in. It's not every day you get to begin a new life and some strange woman begins chatting to you about death and pulling earthworms out of you. But your bones are really so excellent, if you don't mind me saying so. If you don't have your bones, what do you have? Well, off we go then. This is your first big adventure, right? Thank you for taking my hand. You won't regret it. May I rest my head on your shoulder? Just for a little while. You make me feel so safe. And thank you for listening to my little role play. I hope it made you feel strong and magical, and when you sleep, you're filled with dreams of your new adventure. This was a different audio for me, so I would really appreciate it if you could leave a like if you enjoyed it. Please rest well and take good care of yourself. Thank you for sharing your time with me.